sensational host, Drucilla and Gilsey.
Hello.
Welcome to Moon Moment. This is the podcast where we discuss the Sailor Moon canon for what we affectionately call, you guessed it, moon moments.
Moments that we feel exemplify what Sailor Moon stands for and represents. Now, without further ado, let's jump right in. So this time we are discussing episodes 2 through 7. And in case you need a refresher, this is when Usagi goes through a fortune-telling arc. She's also writing a love letter in a radio show. She's trying to work out to lose some weight, and she's also trying to get a pet. And then there's a music episode where she's super into jazz and a cute older man. And then we're going to round off everything by her trying to become famous in a talent competition. So, let's see. Drucilla, did you have any moon moments in any of these episodes?
So, Gilsey, I feel like we need to break it to our audience that we should just end the podcast right now, because I had no moon moments, but I had no, for these 6 episodes, I had nothing that I would consider a true moon moment. And my notes are very sad because it's just no moon moment, no moon moment, no moon moment. I think I got to episode 4, and I said to the watch party that I was watching this with, I was just like, guys, I'm starting to get worried. We're like 4 for 6 right now. If I don't have any moon moments, it will totally, destroy what we've built with one episode of our podcast.
It's all a lie.
Yes. So
it was hard, right? It was definitely struggling trying to find some moon moments. I found mini moments, I guess you could call it, but maybe 2, maybe.
I mean, as I was going through, I did get a lot of content for possible TikToks, so that was great. So look for those.
Yes, look for our TikTok videos.
Yes, because we do have a TikTok. We did bite the bullet, and despite being old people who don't really know how TikTok work, we're on there. So please pity us and follow us.
Check us out. I'm sure we will be just as entertaining as we are now. It's just that you will also have visuals. Might get to see our beautiful faces, or at least mine. But yeah, I don't know. There were definitely some notable mentions, right? I will say that I think in the episode where they're all writing love letters, where Motoki kind of is a thing. He appears in the 2nd episode, and he kind of is there throughout for the rest of the few episodes, and I think he kind of exemplified moon moment in when he's trying to take care of Luna, he gives her milk, and then in the episode where Usagi was trying to lose weight, and Usagi basically fainted because she was just so she was just not eating. He kind of took care of her and checked up on her without any ulterior motive. And he was also being very body positive and telling Usagi you don't have to lose weight. What do you mean? You should eat. He was just really surprised and just was very much you're growing. You don't need to lose weight or go on a diet. And it made Usagi feel better about her body and that she's started to eat again. But I don't know if that would qualify as a full-on moon moment. We love body positivity in this household. We stan. But at the same time, is it moon moment worthy? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, as you were saying that, you were definitely winning me over to... I think this might be a good example of a character being a moon moment.
That's what I was thinking too.
that being said, also there's the, I don't know where the line is between just being a decent human being and being, having it be like exemplified as a moon
Like,
moment.
exactly.
Because
That's what I was thinking too,
yeah,
yeah.
because like him taking care of Luna is, I mean, I feel like it's just,
Like, you're just being a decent
yeah.
person.
And
Like, you're not being a dick.
exactly. Whereas in the first episode, you know, check out the previous podcast to hear about the moon moments we talked there. But Usagi was making a point of, she was chasing these kids from attacking Luna,
Hmm.
but I don't know. It's like Matoki didn't put. I mean, granted, these were little kids, and so Usagi may not have necessarily been putting herself in harm's way,
Hmm.
but she was still. It was an unknown situation that she was stepping into,
Hmm.
whereas Matoki is just
Hmm.
like, "Oh, pretty kitty, like here's some," you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the and him, like, obviously him saying the what he says is interesting, because if I remember correctly, it's like, I think you should eat more because I like curvy girls. So
Yes. See, that was why I like hesitated.
okay, yeah. And it's interesting because in the Deke dub, he says, something like, I should be, she's like, oh, thank you for kind of like reviving me or whatever,
Hmm.
and he says, no, thank you. I've never been more sure now that I want to be a doctor because I was taking care of
Hmm.
you. And he
Hmm.
also then goes on to say, like, it's not healthy not eating and things like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and like, he even says, I'm going to take you out to lunch. Thank you, because,
Yeah.
I really want to, I know I want to be a doctor now. So, and I realized while listening to the first episode we did, I should also be clear, the reason that I am bringing up the Deke dub rather than the Viz dub is because I feel that, the Viz dub is relatively close to what the sub is. Obviously, there are changes, there are localizations, things that make sense, that need to be changed. But the Deke dub is how so many of us were introduced to Sailor Moon in the 90s. And so I think it's important to bring it up when this situation calls for it.
Mm.
I mean, this is not a comparison podcast between the original Japanese version and the Deke dub. Absolutely not. But I, because the Deke dub is how I found Sailor Moon, and there are things that I think the sub does better, and shock, I think there are some things that the dub does better. The Deke dub. Um,
So we are thorough in this household,
yes,
ladies and gents.
we are thorough. So, and like I said previously, I know the Deke has haters. I 100% understand, but I call it rose-colored glasses, nostalgia, because that's how I grew up on Sailor Moon. I will, like, when I watched the even the sub, I don't see the 90s animation style that maybe in another show I'd be like, ugh, like, I don't want to watch something
Mm.
that old. I don't see that when I watch Sailor Moon. So I guess literally it is like rose colored glasses is preventing me from seeing it. Anyway, I apologize. I've gotten very off track of what we were talking about. So yeah, I see, his statements, about, you should just love the way you look. Or I think he could be a moon moment, but also,
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It's not quite there.
Right? Like, it's so close to being a moon moment. If only he hadn't been like, oh, but I like a girl with a little like meat on her bones or like curvier. Like I get that he is trying to reassure Usagi that like, you know, it even if you like if you have a little like weight on you, like it doesn't make you like less beautiful, right? But it's like he could have said something else. And it might be because it's also like older and like times have changed and like beauty standards have changed and like the way that we um like portray like body positivity nowadays is like different, but at the same time, like the message is still there, you know. Um, I don't know. As someone that is a woman and like looks in the mirror a lot, I would appreciate the like the non backhanded compliment, I suppose.
And I, I'm bringing up the Deek dub again. So, I mean, the Deek dub has the infamous Sailor Says sections at the end of
Mm,
every episode. And these were put for a number of reasons. You know, take your pick. You know, they cut so much out of the episode that they needed to fill it to the appropriate time the show would take, or for educational requirements, whatever. But as I'm going through and watching them, like they're cheesy as hell, but they're those Sailor Says sections offered super positive messages. And I think the one for lose weight episode,
mm,
but basically it says, you know, wanting to be healthy is great, but if you're thinking about starting a diet, you should talk to someone who knows what they're doing. You know, basically you should talk to a
mm,
doctor if you want to
mm-hmm.
start losing weight or if you want to go on a diet. It's because, you know, I mean, and it didn't go into this much detail, but obviously everyone's bodies are different and you
Mm,
need different things. You know, diets are, it's kind of hard it's like, you know, one size fits all is a lie, and it's sort of like what a diet is.
yeah.
But yeah, like those Sailor Says sections, I thought did a great job of distilling, you know, the things of the episode for a kid. As someone who, you know, was watching these growing up, it's like, oh
Mm,
yeah, like obviously, you know, the way Usagi is trying to exercise is really unhealthy. You know, killing yourself
mm-hmm.
for an hour
Mm,
is not the way to go about it. You know, it's not really going
yeah.
to help you. So,
Yeah.
um,
So would you say, I, now that we're discussing it, it's so close to being a moon moment, but I don't know. I don't think it is a moon moment.
no,
No.
I think. I mean, if you look at it in the way of he's just a high school kid trying to, you know, just impart some wisdom on her. I mean, I
Mm,
think, you know, act like for a high school boy, especially, like, you know, go Matoki. Like,
yeah.
he's smart and he's a good guy. Yeah.
Very mature thinking. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't think they ever actually say in the anime, but I think it's in the manga that he's friends with Mamoru and they're both in high school together. Or maybe
Yeah. I think I
he's
do.
Mamoru's senpai, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I think they established that like later on
Mm.
in the anime because I think I remember them being friends at some point. That or I'm confusing it with Cardcaptor Sakura, which it could be the case. But I think I do remember them being friends, but that's like much later on in the anime.
But there's also an episode where his girlfriend is stuck because she wants to go study in like the US or something, but she also doesn't want to leave
Mm,
him. And I
Ah.
think he steps up and he's like, "You're crazy. This is an amazing opportunity. You should go. I'll still be here when you get back." But we can talk about that also moon moment when we get there. But I guess that would make sense if they were in high school too. If she's going to
Hmm.
college, like in the U.S., for example.
Right. Yeah.
So, because
Right.
I believe that's in season 5, if we get there, that's what Mamoru is doing. I think he is going to school in the U.S. And so
Ah.
um, there's not really any tuxedo mask in season 5. Um, Sad
Mm.
face. I've only seen Stars once because it was never dubbed in English originally. So I think I was in high school when I watched it the first time, or college. But anyway,
Mamoru wasn't there at all in that episode where everyone was getting a pet, which was really funny. I they called those pets chinelas. Um, and I thought it was really funny because like in Tagalog, like a chinela is like a slipper that I don't know if this is like a universal thing for like immigrant children, but like my mom would or like my parental units would just like beat the shit out of you. And I have friends that are like, yeah, we're scared of chinelas. And my like Latin ex like Mexican friends, they also have like that version, but they call them chanclas. And I just thought it was just so funny every time they reference to these like cute, tiny, like furry little pet glowy animal thingies as a chanela, and I'm like, ooh, PTSD. I'm gonna like, ugh. But yes, fun fact. I was just snickering to myself every time they said chanela.
and see, it was when I read it as Chanel, and so I was thinking of
Ah,
Chanel the perfume, which is what those things do.
that makes so much sense. I was like, why are they calling this perfume? It's clearly like it sounds like a slipper. Like I don't understand. That makes sense. Okay. Now I get the reference.
Mhm.
Uh um but yeah, that was a little fun fact, I guess, as I was watching it for the viewers, I guess if you can relate to the immigrant child struggle. Um But yeah, I didn't really find like any real moon moments in that either. I just the next kind of moon moment that I'm gonna bring up is that music episode with the jazz musician with Yusuke Amade. I'm completely butchering that. But it was okay, so it was when like he was trying to defend his love and he was super willing to like put his life on the line and like protect her and just kind of fight a monster that was really scary. And he was basically trying to do whatever it takes to get his feelings across to her. And they do end up getting married at the end of the episode, um, which was like very, very selfless. Like, I don't, if like a monster were trying to I don't know, like attack my crush, I guess. Like, uh, okay, I guess I would fight this monster. I would,
I guess.
like, I'm ready to fight anything, but but I don't know, like this also felt kind of that weird towing the line of moon moment, right? Because on one hand, it is very sweet, very selfless that he is like trying to protect her and like trying to like fight this monster, even though he is very sorely underprepared, like does not know what he is up against. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I think it goes back to the if you're a decent human being, wouldn't you want to do this in the first place? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you think?
No, I will say to the listeners, this was all of the episodes I wrote no moon moment down in my notes. but this was the only episode that I actually erased it, because as I was thinking about it, he really does. I mean, I think this episode is interesting just because it doesn't really focus on Usagi. Like, she's in it, but she's almost relegated to B-plot status. Because
Yes.
because you have all the stuff with, like, the Negaverse, and then you learn that he's crushing on his producer, and which maybe not a great producer because she didn't read the cassette that had.
I was like, it's right there. It's literally right there.
And then he runs into Usagi, and we get a little bit of like a flashback to him being chased by the Yuma who's after the tape that he has. And then she just kind of follows him, and I feel like the audience perspective is more on him than Usagi. But
I was also thinking like I feel like part of the reason why he's also like so gung-ho about fighting this monster is because he thinks this monster is after the tape and he wants to protect the tape. So I'm like, is it, I don't know, is he trying to protect the person, which he is, but also trying to protect like a tape, which
I guess it's sort of, he sees it as his representation of the representation of his love for her. And
Akiko.
Yeah, and he doesn't know why this monster wants it, but he's not gonna let it have it. And then it's sort of, when the monster does get it, they go to follow it and realize that, speaking of, Usagi gets into a car with kind of a stranger. Kids, if you're listening, please don't do that. Even if you know them because they're famous, or, like a YouTube star or something, don't do it. Make sure.
Please don't do it.
Please don't.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. I should also note that the watch party was basically booing this Yuma as the worst monster we've seen. Like, she's terrible at her job, because she could have easily, and I don't know whether it's these Yuma just, they seem to be able to blend in with humans really well, but she could have just like stepped out and said, hey, that's my tape, that's not the one you're looking for. Or
exactly.
Like, so, oh my gosh, so many times. And it was, I don't know.
It would have been so easy. Like, I don't know, maybe it is my villain side coming out, but it would have been so easy to just go up to him and be like, oh, like, I dropped my tape. This is yours. Like, we mixed it up. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
It would have taken like 2 seconds.
Or,
and then,
her to just like, because he says that he was followed by the Shima from the building or something like that. So it could have just been like, excuse me, sir, I'm an intern. I accidentally mixed up those tapes. This is yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just...
do better.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty competent Yuma, but...
Yeah, do better. Step up and be a villainess. If you want to be a villainess, we want to go full on villainess or none at all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So...
but yeah, like, I don't... It's so close to being a moon moment. But the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, just needed that little extra push.
Yeah, and I guess if we're, totally trashing this one Yuma, I also do want to point out in the radio program episode, Jadeite has her dead to rights. Like, all he has to do is just, like, take her out. And it would be really easy. Like, he stopped her tiara with one hand, like Hela in Thor Ragnarok.
Exactly.
Like, it would have been so easy for him to just take out this nuisance that's been interrupting their plans. But all it takes is a rose,
yes.
which in the sub, it's just the rose. Like, you don't hear Tuxedo Mask, you don't see him. It's just a rose. In the Deke dub, they have him say a few lines, but Jedi just sees the rose and is like, I guess she has backup. I'm just gonna go. And if I was Burl and I realized he had done that, we'd be having words. There'd maybe be a demotion, although
yes.
he wouldn't be general status anymore. He may be management.
No. It was so simple. You could have just taken out the competition, and then we would have had the open playing field. Plus, she's so new at it, right? It would have been so easy to just be like, okay, you're gone.
That being said, shout out to Usagi. Despite being very new, her tiara doesn't work, and she just immediately tries to drop kick. She's like, all right, let's get physical. It doesn't work. Yeah, and it's surprising.
Props for trying.
It's surprising how physical she is in these episodes. I know we're getting away from moon moments, but when she's in the weight loss episode, Slim City episode with the gym, which, F this episode, by the way, and everything it stands for.
Yes.
I just want to go ahead and say that. This is our official stance, Moon Moment's official stance on this episode. She gets physical with the 3 dude bros in the basement. She actually attacks them and then uses her tiara to break their little mind control headbands or whatever.
Yeah, they're tramps.
And you don't really see this later on. I feel like that physical role ends up being taken over, if it's needed, by Makoto. But it's mostly they just rely on their powers. And I'm sure there are people screaming at me right now, no, there's this and this and this. These examples. Well, look, it's been a while since I saw the show. I'm rewatching it with almost fresh perspective. It's cool seeing her think outside the box and be physical. And she's growing up. She's learning.
Go Usagi. Very close moon moments. Those are the 2 big ones that I caught as I was watching these. There are definitely a few little mini moments that I would give a little shout out to. I would say the episode where everyone's trying to get that pet, and Usagi's concerned for her little brother Shingo. And when she was using the tiara, she didn't want to harm her brother, so she was worried about that. So that's when we see the moon tiara Stardust, I think it was. And that kind of protected her brother, but also was able to get him out of that trance, which a little mini moon moment, but not big enough to be yes, this is it.
And it's also a decent human being kind of thing. You don't want to hurt your family.
Exactly.
Despite how annoying and despite how they kicked your cat,
when he kicked Luna, I gasped. I was like, how dare you do that?
This episode, so just for reference, if you weren't around in the 90s when these originally aired, out of these 6 episodes, only 3 were originally dubbed in English. And that was the radio talk show episode, for some reason, the Slim City episode, where everyone's going to the gym to lose weight, and the, everyone wants to be famous, be a superstar episode. Those were the only 3. And I think probably that cat kick might be the reason why this episode wasn't originally dubbed. I could be wrong. I probably am. I'm often wrong about things that I think I'm right about. But yeah, that and just the fact that I don't know. At one point, Luna does grab the one Usagi has and like takes it behind a wall, and my watch party and we were all joking that she like breaks its neck behind the wall to like free Usagi from the spell. So I'm sure that cat kick contributed greatly to not. But but
that's interesting.
It's so interesting how quickly Shingo is like, okay, I love Luna now. All Sailor Moon had to do was tell me. Despite I don't know why she doesn't, why she knows my name.
Yeah, just not really any stellar moon moments in these episodes, which did not think we would have, especially this early on.
I will say, maybe what contributed to this is I kept thinking as I was watching these episodes, these people are mean. Like, Luna is straight up mean to Usagi. Her family is kind of mean to her in the Wait episodes.
And the episode where they're trying to do like the talent competition too, and Luna's being like, "Oh, why are you concerning yourself on this? Like, don't do this." Like, I was just like, girl, she's just trying to follow her dream. She's 14. Let her do what she wants.
So, yeah, and oh my god, Mamoru is he's vicious to her, and
he's a jerk.
Yeah,
it's like
he's so jerky.
I know this is enemies to lovers, but like this is just cruel.
I know, and sometimes I wonder if, because he is supposed to be in high school, I wonder if it's one of those things that, not that he, it's not the, stereotypical, oh, he has a crush on her, so he's going to be mean to her, which is BS, by the way. But I don't think it's that exactly. I think it's just he enjoys teasing her, not for any malicious reasons. He just, finds her
it's
amusing.
Just fun.
Yeah, and like I said, and I don't, and I think what's very important is I don't think he realizes how much it hurts her. Because I mean, there are times when she overreacts as he's walking away, she throws a comeback at him, and she's very much drama queen overreacting. I think he likes that kind of reaction, but I think it's at the Superstar episode where she's so depressed from Luna is I'm not doing this, you should be focusing on what's important, and she just kind of runs off, and she's sort of teary-eyed, and she sees him and she just immediately 90-degree angle into an alleyway or something, because she just can't handle his put downs right now. And so I think that's also a very good lesson that maybe lesson's the wrong word, but you never know how what you say will be taken, and making a joke, your friends may act like it's okay, but they may really be hurt by it, but they feel weird telling you that. And I think that's probably what the situation is. He's a high school boy who's teasing a girl that he finds amusing, and she reacts in a way that he expects, but doesn't realize that some of what he says, especially, oh my gosh, some of the stuff about, you'll never get a boyfriend, or you just, how many of those donuts, or how many of those buns did you eat?
Yes.
I don't think he realizes sometimes how much his words hurt her. And so we should all be mindful of,
Yes.
what we say and how it could be taken, especially now since, during the pandemic, so much of our stuff is done through texting and emails.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that I will write, like in a work email, being like, haha, joke, and then just deleting it because I realize, like, it would be obvious that I was joking if I was face to face with someone, but it may be taken the wrong way, and I don't want my boss to take this the wrong way. So, yeah.
See, this is why I wish GIFs were a little more work appropriate, because then I could like insert a GIF and it's like, oh yeah, I'm just kidding, haha. Oh man, I'm just imagining myself sending a GIF to my boss and like, our humor is very different.
So, yeah, and I mean, it goes into the whole. I mean, if we're gonna get really heavy, the little things that, microaggressions, the little harassment things that you don't realize what you're doing, little remarks that it's like, oh, it's like a little joke, haha. It's like, no, that's racist, what you just said. And,
yeah,
maybe, I think we're rambling a little bit at this point. I think we should shut it down, but important topics that are very timely and also ties into what we're saying in these episodes. And it's really just, this podcast isn't just, talking about Sailor Moon and geeking out over it, but it's also kind of just like tying into what's happening in the world and just how, I guess, we ourselves could exemplify these moon moments. And hopefully, you can come on this journey with us as we talk about these things, and hopefully you get some wisdom, I guess, from listening to us ramble on. Yes, very wonderfully put. And, if we were wrong, if there was a moon moment that you're like, I can't believe they didn't see this, drop us a line.
Or if you feel very strongly about one of the moon moments that we didn't feel were moon moments, let us know. Yeah. We would love to hear from you.
Or if you just want to, add us and say, yeah, F that weight loss episode, we'll retweet you. That episode should never be forgotten for how horrible it is. So, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Our next episodes are going to cover 8 and 9. So, the solo Sailor Moon, Sailor Mercury episodes. So, yay! Ami is next.
Yay!
And I definitely know one moon moment that's going to come out of one of those episodes. So It will not be we won't be as flailing in that episode as we were in this one. So check out our social media on Twitter and Instagram at Moon Moment Pod. And don't forget to check out our website at moonmomentpodcast.com. You'll find show notes and transcripts of every episode there.
Yes, let us know what your moon moment musings are. We'd love to hear from you, as we've been trying to say, and maybe you might just get a shout out. If you'd like to support the podcast, please rate, review, share, and subscribe. It helps us keep afloat amidst the vast ocean of podcasts. I'm Gilsey.
And I'm Drucilla.
Thank you for tuning in. You're all simply true Moondus.
Your pun of the week.
Yes. We will catch you later. Until next time.